The Château Laurier. It's said to be haunted by the ghost of Charles Melville Hays, the president of the company that built the hotel. Hays died on the Titanic 12 days before the hotel's opening. In a prime location, with Byward Market on one side and the Rue du Canal Locks on the other, Ottawa's castle has been revitalized to offer you even more luxurious accommodations in Canada's capital. The hotel has been a member of the Historic Hotels Worldwide since 2018. Right in the heart of downtown Ottawa, Fairmont Château Laurier is just minutes away from exciting attractions and activities, and guests can explore the best that Ottawa has to offer, from the historic canal that cuts through the city to the Canadian Museum of History and the National Gallery. It's a beautiful area. As the capital of Canada, Ottawa is also an excellent location for business meetings and professional conferences, as well as romantic weddings and getaways. Though located in Canada, the mastermind behind the Château Laurier was an American named Charles Melville Hays. Hays was the president of Grand Trunk Railway, which was the major railway in Canada. Hays wanted to build the Château Laurier to give visitors to Ottawa an exquisite place to stay. After the hotel was built in 1911, Hays traveled to London, England to buy furniture for the dining room of the hotel. The scheduled grand opening to the public was set for the spring of 1912. In his business dealings, Hays had discussions with the White Star Line about speeding travelers from Europe to the Orient using White Star ships, and his Transcontinental Railroad. As a result of fantastic business discussions with an extremely promising future, Hays and his entourage were invited as guests aboard the Titanic in a luxurious suite. 1 hour before the fateful disaster that we all know of, Hays relaxed with Colonel Archibald Gracie and Captain Edward Crosby in the first-class smokeroom, and they talked about the technological advances in transportation. At one point, Hays conceded that while Titanic was a superlative vessel, he expressed concern that the trend to playing fast and loose with larger and larger ships will ultimately end in tragedy. 20 minutes later, Titanic struck an iceberg. Hays never believed the ship would sink quickly. As he put his wife and daughter into a lifeboat, he assured them Titanic would stay afloat for at least 10 hours. Unfortunately, Hays perished in the sinking of the Titanic in the Atlantic Ocean. This was, again, just mere weeks before the Dream Hotel opened in 1912. 3 cases of furniture destined to complete the dining room of the Château Laurier also were forever lost at sea that fateful day. He was brought back to Montreal for burial in his coffin, laid in his favorite private railway car. The railway car is still preserved and on display at the Canadian Railway Museum near Dawson, Quebec. The grand opening of the hotel was delayed until June 1st. Hundreds of people were in attendance to see Canada's 7th Prime Minister, Sir Wilfrid Laurier, officially open the hotel, which would bear his name. A large marble bust of the Prime Minister Laurier had been commissioned for the elegant lobby, and the Prime Minister was invited for a private viewing of the bust, which had been carefully created by the renowned French sculptor Paul Romain Chauvet. Unfortunately, just minutes before Laurier's viewing, workmen dropped the statue, and the nose was severely chipped. The nose of the bust was repaired, and Prime Minister Laurier was the first to sign the hotel's guest register. The statue can still be seen in the lobby today. Charles Melville Hays was determined to bring luxury to Ottawa, and it's safe to say that he did that and more. As through his legacy, he inspired style, commanding presence, and elegance for which the rest of the city followed suit. The Château was the first in a chain of these style hotels constructed by the Grand Trunk Railway, later incorporated into the Canadian National Railways, simply to encourage tourists to travel its routes. Distinguished by its crisp facades and steep copper roofs, the hotel's picturesque appearance captures the romance of traveling by train. The Châteauesque rooflines of several federal government buildings in Ottawa were inspired by the commanding presence of this hotel. The Château Laurier was designated a National Historic Site of Canada in 1980 because it is a chateau-style hotel which is of national significance as an architectural type. These are Interesting Things with JC.